G'day, how you going? Ianapolis here, your acrylic guru from Australia. Thank you for joining me video today. Today I'm not painting, but it's because I don't have any canvases. I've run out of canvas panels. So when I get time during the week out of my work hours, I've got to go and get a few materials together because I make my own, all right? It's easy for me once I get a pile going. I've got my own there to use. But at the moment I've run out, so that's why there's no painting today. But I am going to give you some information video today of some mediums, brushes and paints, and touch base on those things with you. For those people that don't quite understand what certain things can do for you, all right? I've got a glass of milk going here. Well, it's not a glass of milk, it's a cup of milk, but it's a beverage. I'm enjoying that as well. So, and I've got my whiteboard so I can scribble things down for you and give you information and, you know, all these sorts of things. Also, the things that I want to touch base on in this video are about what I use in my videos, like the paints, the brushes and things like that. And I want to describe about the blending brush that I look for in a shop. So I want to describe that to you as well. I want to go through the mediums that I use. You know, there's so many out there, and I want to touch base on about my paintings that are for sale, all right? Because all my tutorial paintings that I do are for sale. So I'll touch base on you how to get one of those if you want one as well. And we'll go through some ideas on how to photograph your paintings for sale purposes or just for posting on your social media. Now we've got the paints, the mediums and the brushes. So let's go to this whiteboard and we'll touch. So we're going to go on our, oh, can you see that? I think you can. We'll do our bullet dots over here. So we're going to go on brushes, mediums and paints. So that's what we're going to touch base on today. And of course all this is in acrylic. Okay, I only work in acrylic paints, so I stick to the devil I know rather than the devil I don't. So let's go to brushes. Okay, down here are different brushes, and also, you know, from your art shop there you might find flat brushes, filbert brushes, round brushes, whatever. These are all good for doing blocking ins and detail and stuff. You know, you even get smaller ones. There's one down here. All right. So as an example, we have a different array of brushes. The ones you get from your art store, which are these ones here, fan brushes, chiseled edge brushes, flat brushes, round brushes, filbert brushes, detailed brushes. And you might also get a 1.5 inch or a 2 inch brush like this from your art store, okay? Now, I found in Australia, in general, this is what the art stores sell. Now, if you see someone like me blending with a 2 inch brush, do not mistake it for this. Why? See these hairs? They're coarse, they're bristly, they're like hog bristle. I don't know what they're made out of. I'm not a scientist on brushes, but I know what works for me and what doesn't. It's got a very narrow surface area here, and it's very bristly. So if you're going to blend the way I do, this is going to scratch. It's going to be like cat claws, okay? It has its purpose, but not for what I do in blending. So let's not worry about these. These you can find to your own taste in your art store, and this one here they supply. Now, what I look for in a hardware store for a blending brush. Okay, here's one here. All right, that's a 2 inch brush. It's synthetic. It's pretty much like that, but neater. It's very scratchy. I would not be able to blend with that. The surface area at the bottom is very narrow, as you can see as well. So that is, to me, is a good paint for applicating paint onto your canvas or getting some large blocking in areas done. Now this is a brush I found in the hardware store. It's a 2 inch painting brush. And what am I looking for when I'm going in the hardware store? All right, they've got the 1, 2, 2.5 brush, okay? Now I'm looking for the surface area, which I call this the surface area here. It might have a proper name for that, but that's what I'm calling it. Now look how wide that is to the one you get from the art store. Okay, there's a big difference. This is why this works for me when I'm blending, because you've got that surface area. Now that surface area as well is not scratchy, it's soft, like these ones I was selling. Okay, look at that, it's got a good surface area here and it's soft at the end. Now what else do I look for? These hairs here from there to there have stability in them. They're not, let's say this one, flimsy. I mean, that's got stability depending how hard you press on it. But they've got stability, which gives me control and pressure when I'm pressuring the paint to blend, okay? And the tips are soft. So back up to the whiteboard. So the brush needs to have a good surface area like that. That's the end of the brush there, okay? Not like that, okay? And it has length to it, and the ends are soft. The ends are soft. Let's just say that's looking at that brush a 3D way, okay? And the handle's coming up here somewhere. Okay, so we're looking for stability in the hair, the bristles, and softness at the end. Like this one, watch this. I've got, the end is soft and it's got stability. It's not a really soft one, okay? There are soft ones, but they have their purpose. These ones here that I found, they met that criteria when I was doing my blending. Unfortunately, the place I was getting these from in Australia are no longer available, so hence I cannot supply that one anymore until more come along. Now we'll go to mediums. Just ask any questions below about the brushes if you have something you're having trouble understanding, and we'll go to mediums now. Mediums for you beginners are additives that you add into your paints that you're putting onto your canvas. I didn't know what a medium was. I heard the word a lot. It's just something, a product, an additive, but they call it a medium. And even the paints themselves are classed as a medium. Someone might say, well, this is a mixed medium. It means it's got different mediums in it. It's not the one medium, not the one paint, the one type. It's got different types all the way through it. But the mediums we have all have their own purpose. The more you understand them, the more you can do and create. So on the mediums here, we're up to there. We've got, what have we got? What I use. So we've got a gesso. Can you see that? We've got a gesso. We have an impasto. We have an impasto, and we have a retarder. These are what I use. Now, a retarder, for those people, the word retard means slow down. Any mechanic out there will know, back in the 70s and the 80s, the old cars that had a distributor, you retard the timing. You're slowing it down as you're timing the car with your distributor. You'll loosen that up as you're timing your car, and you're retarding that. That retard in a word means to slow down. Hence in Australia we call this medium retarder. It slows down the drying time. So it's slowing down the drying time, okay, of your acrylic paint. Because acrylics, depending on your climate, can skin over very easily or start getting gluggy and dry when it's onto your canvas. It's good to know what medium can do what for you. So I use retarder a lot for my blending methods. So come down here and a bit closer and we'll get into it a bit more. We'll get into the nitty gritties of it, all right? Come over here. All right, so what have we got? We've got our retarder, our gesso, an impasto, And obviously we got a flowing white paint. I'll get onto the flow whites later. So now, all right, what does a impasto do? All right, you're asking. I didn't even know this as well when I first got into painting. I never knew what an impasto does. So I'll grab a knife and I'll show you what an impasto does. I'm going to use this for mixing. All right, let's just say you've got your acrylic paints. Now this is a good quality paint. I'm using a Tilia. I find Tilia a very good paint. It's interactive and they have a structured and a flow type. Now let's just say you're going to mix some magenta and some cadmium yellow together. You want to mix up some sort of orange or whatever. All right, so you've mixed that and it's the perfect shade, color, tone, whatever, and you go, I didn't mix enough. I've got to do it again. I hope I don't mess up. All right, simple. Grab your impasto. All right, we're going to make a pile that big. So, hang on, I'll just put that over there like a gentleman. So the impasto, oh, you probably want less percentage than that, but as an example, the impasto bulks up your paint volume without distorting the colour. So if you've made a colour that you like, all right, see what that impasto done? It turned that little pile into a bigger pile, meaning I didn't have to go and mix more and hope that I got the shade right, where knowing you being a beginner, we make mistakes. So that's what impasto can do in my view, okay? See what that done? It's increased the volume. Now people make this or you can buy it. I'm pretty sure I've heard of tutorials online where people can show you how to even make your own impasto, okay? But that's sort of made an Indian yellow there. So that's what impasto does. Up here, the impasto virtually increases the volume. So we'll put a plus for increase the volume. And while I'm writing it down, it makes your mind think and remember this as well. So pasto, not pasto, you silly Billy, impasto can increase the volume of your paint, all right? Now we'll get to this little bugger here. Now we have retarder. I use Hosonja's medium retarder. Now the one I'm using is clear. There is a white retarder as well that I've seen, but I've never used it. I know this works for me, so I just stick with this, all right? Now, how the retarder works for those people that don't know, there's your paint, and I mean, this is pretty, that impasto I've mixed with it has kept it very soft, but the retarder, yeah, we'll put a dollop in there, you can see that. You mix it in with your paint like that. You've seen it in my tutorials. That paint will stay wet once you've painted it on your canvas, whatever. That paint will stay wet longer than without it. That's what the retarder does. So the retarder slows down the drying time and it'll keep it wet longer. All right, that's just water drops to show my wetness. You got to have wetness in your work, all right? It's that easy. If you want to blend the way I blend. Now, what else have we got in mediums? We've got the gesso. Let's have a look at Mr. Gesso here, okay? What is gesso? Gesso comes in black or white. I've got a black one here. I hardly ever use it, but if you want to, let's just say you've got a canvas board and let's put some of this on there. Well, this is just baking paper I have for my palette here, disposable palette. Now you can put gesso and have a textured surface. This is a matte black. I use this to paint my easel at the end of every video to clean up the splashing of the paint so it looks presentable for the next video. But see that? You can paint a canvas in black or white gesso to increase the texture. Even stipple it like that. Come down and have a better look. See there? And that'll dry like that. And that you can add, let's just say you've got a wood panel or a plasterboard you want to paint on. You can try texturing it in your gesso and get a more rigid surface so the paint will come off your brush and it'll work like a weaved canvas sheet. So our gesso is working as a primer, and it can also intensify the texture. In my view, the texture is the coarseness or the smoothness of the surface, whether it's a smooth surface or a coarse surface. That's what the gesso can do, in my view, when I'm using it. It's probably got other purposes as well. I don't know what they are, but I would use it as priming up a canvas board to get more texture on your canvas board if it doesn't have enough. Now let's get on to the paints over here, okay? There's different paints for you beginners to learn. We virtually have a flow paint, or if you want to call it a soft body paint, okay? And we have a textured paint, or structured, if it's called structured paint, structure, or in other words, just thicker. It's thicker, in simple terms, all right? So come down here and we'll have a look what I'm on about. Now, I've got a white, I've got a green grey there, I've got a yellow green, and I've got another white. Now, I'll show you the difference in the flow paint. Now, this paint doesn't say on the bottle it's flow paint, but I know inside it that it is. It's a soft student paint, and watch it come out of that tube. It's coming out like that, all right? And it is very, very flowy. I use that to prime up a canvas board with retarder, whether it's gesso primed or not, to get the blending that I do. Now, the difference between this paint and your normal titanium paint that you add into your paintings for the colour, I'll show you. This one does not come out of the tube runny like that did. I'm not going to waste too much because I can't afford to waste it. But see, this is, see how that's coming out of there? This is a good quality paint. Now, this one's the Atelier I use. I use that for my clouds. Now, if you look over here, this one is very see-through, okay? This one is very thick. That's good for painting your clouds, your highlighting stuff, and adding white to a colour to lighten it down if you need to. That's the difference. I only use this flow paint for priming up the boards the way I paint. It's a student paint. It says on there student paint. It's a craft paint, poster paint, whatever you want to call it. Now, the other brand that I use, which I find is very good, is Matisse. All right? He's a famous artist. It's not with us anymore. But why I've got these two, I'm just showing you the difference that they sell. They actually say on the tube, this is a flowing paint. So hence, watch how it comes out the tube. See, that's very flowy. All right? And this one even says on the tube, this one's a structured paint, so it's thicker. So you saw how that yellow green come out. Now watch how this one comes out. This one, you've virtually got to push it out. See? It's staying together from the tube down. So they are your flow paints and your structured paints. And in my view, this flow paint is good to use instead of wetting a paint down with water to get it to come off and do detail. You buy these ones and they're great for that, because this, if you're going to, let's say, pick up the structure, all right, you got it on your brush and you're trying to detail something, all right, on your canvas, it's coming off on here because that's a flat surface. But on your, now this here, it will detail way, way better. You're not killing it with water. All right? So they're the difference in the two paints you can find. I'm pretty sure you can find them in the States like that. Okay, so we've touched on the all the brushes, the different mediums and the paints. Now what I've touched on here, that's what I use in my tutorials. Not in every tutorial, but that's the main ingredients that's on my table or on my pallet or on my racks when I'm going to do a project, okay? It's what I know and it works for me. When you're beginning, try and learn the basics first and spread out further and further with your knowledge as you go. Don't try and absorb everything in one sitting or one day or 1 week, because you just won't know where you're at, all right? Also, just so the people that follow me, I do try to get a video out every Saturday, all right? This would have been a video if I had a canvas, but I don't, so I'm doing this information video. All my paintings are for sale. Go to my Facebook page. There's a link in the description below for my Facebook page. Click on that and have a look. If you want to add me as a friend, message me and tell me you found me on YouTube and you want to be my friend. That way I'll accept you and I know you're not someone trying to scam. All right? And go into the photos on your Facebook. You've got photos at the top. Click on that. And then at the top of that section, you've got photos of Ian, photos of this, or albums. Click on the albums. And then in the albums, you'll see my art for sale section. Click on that and load the page up as it comes. They're all my paintings for sale. Now, all my paintings are my YouTube tutorial canvas board paintings, okay? And the good thing about them is, when you've bought one, you can always go back to that video and watch how that painting was actually done by the stroke, all right? And you private message me if you're interested in one. Don't just tell me on the comments, I'm interested in this. Okay, you're interested. Well, private message me and then I'll know, okay, which one is it, what number. Everything's hashtagged with a number. I'll know which one you're on about and we get the ball rolling that way, all right? The paintings are all $55 US, and that includes the postage and handling of them as well. Now, someone was asking about photographing paintings for sale, or obviously even just posting on your social media. Number one, try and have a black background if you can, because it's just dancing everything, deleting everything out of that area except for your painting that you're taking a photo of as well. And come over here. Let's look at it sideways from this angle, okay? The main gist of photographing something, let's just say you've got a table here and you're there, there's your nose, all right? And you're there looking at the object this way, okay? If you can, have it against a wall and have a sheet or a cloth from the floor and going upwards. So you've got this curved angle here. It creates no corner in your photo, and you can place your painting there and take a photo of it. Okay, let's show you what I mean. So I've got any flat surface and a wall. I found this one in the cupboard. We'll use this as a sample to take a photo. So we want to take a photo of that, but we don't want to just take a photo with all sorts of nonsense in the background. That's your main objective, okay? You want the eyes on that painting only. So what I say, I don't have a black sheet, but anything dark will do. So let's just put that up there for now. I'll clamp that up there. And this will just give you an idea what you can do. And you can have your own little studio just for photographs. Have fun designing and making your own little studio. Now, we want to get this on a round slope, all right? We don't want it with a sharp corner in there. It doesn't matter. The painting's going to probably hide it anyway. And then, let's get that tight across there. The less wrinkles, the better. All right, so we've got that done like that, or even if you've got a green screen. Now that painting, I can just sit that there and I'll move my camera so you can see the difference. Okay, there we go there. So I'll tilt this down. Okay, now there's your picture. You move your camera as much as you want. Now see there, okay, the photo has got that in there. It's this. If this was black, whatever it is, it's the way you want it. And there's no corner there. You can take that. Don't worry about these bits on the edge there, because you can crop it then. Crop it even to a neater size, okay? Where having light from behind you shining on it will put a glare. So can you can you see that? I'm going to turn out my lights. Can you see that? There's shadow on there. I'm going to turn out my overhead lights. Okay, there's no light in it, but it might be a bit dark. I've found outside in the natural light is beautiful. But if you've got to muck around with a photo inside, take a few shots until you haven't got that glare or that sheen over your photo there. I'll put these lights back on. I ain't no expert on photography. There's probably tutorials out there that can show you how to take better photographs. I do a lot of videoing and photoing anyway, so I know what works for me. But go and look up a photographer's tutorials, how to take photos for, let's say, there's bound to be something there, all right? And that'll help you. But anyway, you can create your own studio or somewhere just to hang them here. I even hang mine on my black curtain. Can you see that? And taking photos there, but sometimes I've had to go outside because of the light, and I've got with the daylight just on it, underneath the patio or somewhere, it takes a beautiful shot. Okay, that's just my view. Well, I hope you found this information helpful. Check out the links in the description below. Like I said, there's one for my Facebook page. There'll be one for my video library content on my YouTube channel. It'll take you to all my videos. There's one for my Patreon page, just for those people who like to support the content there. There's no set amount. I've had people asking me, is there a set amount they need to pledge? But no, you just pledge whatever you feel. No pressure there. What else is there? And yeah, so check those out and like me videos and share them around if you like what I'm doing. But if you don't, tell everybody. All the best, goodbye, good luck, and good on you.